Let's set aside politics and talk about a rivalry that shaped modern entertainment: PlayStation versus Xbox. This isn't just about two plastic boxes. It's a global battle for your time, money, and loyalty. On one side, Sony's PlayStation, the cool, confident innovator from Japan that made gaming mainstream for adults. PlayStation delivers cinematic stories and unforgettable experiences, always knowing what its fans crave. On the other hand, we have Microsoft's Xbox, the bold American challenger, bursting onto the scene with raw power and a vision for online gaming. Xbox is the disruptor, always pushing boundaries and redefining what a console can be. How did these two titans come to dominate our living rooms? This is a saga of twists, failures, comebacks, and relentless innovation. It's about how fierce competition forces both companies to raise the bar. So grab your popcorn and pick your side, or just enjoy the show. This is the console war that's changed how we all play. Let's dive in. Before PlayStation, Nintendo ruled gaming with Mario and Zelda, making gaming a family affair. In the early 90s, Nintendo partnered with Sony to develop a CD-ROM add-on, but then ditched them for Philips, leaving Sony betrayed. Instead of quitting, Sony's Ken Kutaragi convinced the company to build their own console. In 1994, the PlayStation launched, using CDs for bigger games, better sound, and cinematic cutscenes. Sony targeted teens and young adults, making gaming cool and mature. Their marketing hit music festivals and clubs, capturing a new audience. The result, a revolution. PlayStation sold over 100 million units, crushing rivals like Nintendo 64 and Sega Saturn. It became home to iconic franchises like Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, and Gran Turismo. These weren't just games, they were epic story-driven adventures. Sony didn't just join the industry, they took it over. PlayStation set a new standard, building an empire that changed gaming forever. The rules had been rewritten. Suddenly, everyone wanted in. The stage was set for a new challenger. Enter Microsoft. As Sony celebrated PlayStation's dominance, Microsoft watched with growing concern. Bill Gates saw the PlayStation 2 as a threat to the PC's place in the living room. Microsoft's answer? Build their own console, the Xbox. The idea was to combine PC power with console simplicity, featuring a built-in hard drive and a focus on online gaming. In 2001, the Xbox launched, bigger, more powerful than the PS2, and ready to make waves. But hardware wasn't enough. Microsoft needed a killer game. Enter Halo Combat Evolved, a sci-fi shooter that became an instant classic and system seller. The real game changer, though, was Xbox Live. Launched in 2002, it made online gaming seamless with friends lists, voice chat, and matchmaking. While Xbox didn't outsell the PS2, it established Microsoft as a serious player. More importantly, it set the stage for the future of online gaming consoles. The console war had a new contender. The battle lines were drawn. The fight was just beginning, and the stakes were about to get even higher. The next round was explosive. Xbox 360 versus PlayStation 3. Microsoft struck first, launching the Xbox 360 a year ahead of Sony. With a sleek design, refined Xbox Live, and hits like Gears of War, the 360 built a loyal fan base. Sony stumbled with the PS3. A complex processor, a sky-high $599 price, and a late start. Gamers balked at the cost, and the $599 meme haunted Sony. The 360 dominated early, thanks to the better online service and must-play exclusives. But the 360 had a fatal flaw, the red ring of death, a hardware failure that cost Microsoft over $1 billion. Sony seized the opportunity, dropping the PS3's price and releasing a slimmer model. Their studios mastered the hardware, delivering masterpieces like The Last of Us and Uncharted 2. By the end, Sony closed the gap, ending the generation in a virtual tie. The rivalry was fiercer than ever. Both companies had learned hard lessons. The next generation would be a true test. The war was far from over. The stakes had never been higher. After a close battle, Sony entered the PS4 era with humility and focus. They built a powerful, developer-friendly console and made one thing clear: this machine is for games. Microsoft, meanwhile, lost sight of its audience. The Xbox One reveal focused on TV, sports, and a mandatory Connect, alienating core gamers. Controversial policies like always online requirement, the Xbox One was $100 more than the PS4, mostly due to Connect. Sony pounced, showing how easy it was to share PS4 games. The result? A landslide victory for PlayStation. Xbox reversed its policies, but the damage was done. PS4 outsold Xbox One by a huge margin. Sony had won this round decisively. Microsoft needed a new strategy. Facing defeat, Microsoft changed the game. Under Phil Spencer, Xbox focused on value and services, not just hardware. Backward compatibility was a hit, but the real revolution was Xbox Game Pass. For a monthly fee, players got access to a massive library, including all new Halo exclusives on day one. Game Pass shifted the focus from selling consoles to building an ecosystem. Xbox became a platform, not just a box, reaching players on console, PC, and even mobile. The brand was revitalized. Microsoft wasn't just chasing Sony anymore, they were building something new. The comeback was on. While Xbox built its ecosystem, Sony doubled down on what it did best: blockbuster exclusives. PlayStation Studios delivered hits like God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and The Last of Us Part 2. These weren't just games. They were cultural events, polished to perfection. Sony's focus was quality over quantity, investing in studios like Naughty Dog and Insomniac. These executives defined the PlayStation brand and drove console sales. Even as PlayStation Plus evolved, Sony's core strategy remained deliver unforgettable cinematic experiences. In a world of subscriptions, Sony proved that there's still a place for premium standalone games. The formula worked again and again. PlayStation's fortress of exclusives kept fans loyal. A new generation dawned. The war shifted to content. Both Sony and Microsoft raced to acquire top game studios. Microsoft made headlines buying Bethesda for $2.5 billion, bringing Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Doom to Xbox. Then came the blockbuster, Microsoft's $68.7 billion bid for Activision Blizzard, adding Call of Duty and more to its arsenal. The goal? Build an unbeatable Game Pass library. Sony responded with targeted acquisitions: Insomniac, Bluepoint, and Bungie, strengthening its lineup of prestige exclusives. The arms race for studios is reshaping the industry. Exclusive content is the new battleground. The next generation of games will be defined by these acquisitions. The war for talent is just heating up. So who's winning the console war in 2025? It depends on how you measure. By console sales, PlayStation is still on top, thanks to blockbuster exclusives and brand loyalty. But Microsoft is winning a different battle, building a massive ecosystem with Game Pass, spanning console, PC, and cloud. Xbox is playing the long game, focusing on engagement and recurring revenue. Sony must balance its tradition of premium games with the shift towards subscriptions. Microsoft, meanwhile, must deliver on its huge studio investments with must-play exclusives. The real winner? Us, the players. Competition drives innovation, value, and incredible new ways to play. The war isn't over. It's evolving. The next chapter is unwritten, and the best is yet to come. But as the dust settles, one thing is clear. This battle is no longer just about graphics, speed, or specs. It's about identity. About every console release now feels less like a launch and more like a cultural moment. One shaped by community, nostalgia, and the promise of the future. Whether you're loyal to one brand or just love great games, the only certainty is change. With cloud gaming, AI integration, and subscription models redefining ownership, the next move could come from anywhere. So grab your controller, buckle in, and get ready. Because in the world of gaming, there's no final boss, just the next level. If you enjoyed this battle between two console giants, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our next deep dive.